Yeah, I hate the fact that this thing starts off recording immediately. It's so inconvenient. But anyway, that's not important right now. What's important is getting to these picks. So, first, let's look over last week. Okay, so I got that right. So that's 1-0. I got that right. That's 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2. 6-3, 6-4, 7-5. 7-4, 7-5, 8-5, 8-6, 9-6, and I guess I ended the week last week on picks 9-7 last week, so that's not that bad actually. So ended last week 9-7 on picks. So let's try to have the same kind of success or better this week. So first pick I'm gonna make is for tonight's game, which just starts at 8:20. Making the pick here now at 5:04. Feel like I should point that out. Game this today has not started yet and doesn't start for a few hours. Giants versus Washington. I think, again, both teams are pretty bad. Overall, I think, Washington had a decent game against LA last week. They had a decent game against the Chargers last week. The Giants lost to, they both own one. Both teams have to win, or one team is going to come out of this game victorious. But in terms of the team that played better last week, I think Washington played better last week, and overall I think they're a better team. I think that they were the one team that made it to the playoffs last year in this division. Tyler Heineke is starting this year. I think Washington wins this game. I think they win at like 20-13. I don't expect it to be a good game. I don't think anyone expects it to be a good game, but it's a divisional game, very important for this division. I think Washington wins 20-13. Raiders and Steelers. So the Steelers showed that they were better than everybody thought they were. The Raiders played against a weakened Ravens team that I thought would beat them and almost did, went to overtime. I'm a Ravens fan, so I was very disappointed by the outcome of last week's game. But I think the Steelers win this game actually because, I think, the Steelers beat the Bills. The Raiders did really well against the Ravens last week, but the Steelers' defense is a lot better than the Ravens' defense is currently. The one thing the Ravens did do well against the Raiders last week was rush the passer. Especially in the first half, and the Steelers have a much better pass rush than the Ravens do. I think the Ravens' defense kind of got worn down towards the end of the game because the Ravens' offense didn't produce as much as I don't think anyone really thought they would. But the Steelers beat the Bills last week in a really contested matchup. I think the Raiders' offense is really good, though. I think that the Steelers win this game 28-24, and they go on to be on 2. The 49ers versus the Eagles. The Eagles kind of shocked everybody by actually doing really well last week. That being said, I feel like the Niners are a much better team than who the Eagles played last week. The Eagles played the Falcons. Yeah, the Eagles are playing a much better team than they played last week. Both these teams are 1-0. I think that my gut is telling me to go with the 49ers here. Could end up being a pretty high scoring game. I think the Niners can win it 32-28. It should be a pretty close matchup, but I think the Niners are just slightly better than the Eagles, so I'll go with the Niners on that one. Texans Browns. So the Texans played the Jags last week. I don't think that shows much. They did score 37 points with Tyrod Taylor at the helm, but the Browns are a much better team than the Jags. I think that the Texans can definitely score a lot of points still against the Browns, given the fact that the Browns defense is not one of the best, but I think the Browns win this game though. The Browns almost beat the Chiefs last week, but we know what happens. They turn the ball over 2 times in costly scenarios. So I don't think they're going to do that against the Texans this week, but I do believe that if they play anywhere close to what they played last week, the Browns should win this easily. I'm going to go ahead and say the Browns win this like 42. I'm not even kidding. I think they easily score 42 points. The Browns can win this game. Whoops. Oh, where do we go with that? Oh, boy. Okay, there we go. The Browns can win this game pretty easily. I think they score like 42 points, maybe like 42 to 30. Again, potentially another shootout there. But I think the Browns take it. Jags versus Broncos. So, Trevor Lawrence is progressing the exact same way that I thought he would this season. Pretty slowly. I have no idea why they decided to release Gardner Minshew, and I don't know who the heck the Jaguars' backup quarterback is. That being said, I don't think the Broncos are that great of a team either. I think both teams are kind of bad. That being said, I think the Broncos win this one. After watching what the Jags did last week, I don't have any confidence that they're going to actually be able to win. And I think the Broncos are the type of team that just beat up on bad teams, right? So the Broncos are a type of team that they're probably going to just beat up on bad teams all season, and that'll probably get them to about 6 to 7 wins, right? So realistically, I don't think the Broncos are too good either, but I just don't think the Jags are good enough to beat them. I think this is a close game, though. I could see it being like 27 to 23 Broncos, but yeah, I think that. And at the end of the day, the Broncos win. Saints Panthers. After seeing what we saw last week from Jameis Winston, I have to go with the Saints on this one. They're a much better team than the Panthers. The Panthers did beat the Jets last week, but everybody kind of. Well, I actually did not think that they would beat the Jets, but I forgot that Sam Darnold is starting for the Panthers, and that makes things a lot easier for them. Sam Darnold looked good last week. They played the Jets. They should have scored more points. They won by like 8 points because the Jets scored 1 touchdown and scored a 2-point conversion. That being said, the Saints played the Packers, much harder opponent to beat, shut down Aaron Rodgers somehow and make him throw 2 interceptions. Defense is real. Jameis Winston has a cannon. I think the Saints run all over the Panthers and maybe even beat them like 34 to 10. It should be a blowout. Rams versus Colts. Like I said last week, Matthew Stafford has always been an underrated quarterback, and Carson Wentz has always been an overrated quarterback. Now Carson Wentz is being exposed as Carson Wentz. I'm pretty sure people have said that before. I've never liked Carson Wentz. I always thought that the Eagles won that Super Bowl off of essentially just being the best team in the NFL that year, being the most stacked team, not having injuries. You know, the Eagles won that Super Bowl when they did at the right time. And Carson Wentz he benefited from having a good cast around him. He does not have a good cast around him in Indianapolis. The Colts might be one of the worst teams in the league this year. They do not have a good defense. They do not have a good offense. The Rams are so much better. The Rams have a pretty easy schedule at this point in the season. I think they just roll over the Colts and make it it should be an easy game for them. I'm going to go, again, probably 34 to 10. Should be a blowout. Bills, Dolphins. Both teams won last week. I know. Bills lost last week. Dolphins won last week. They had a much easier game. Bills had a much harder game. I think last time we saw Tua Tagovailoa play against the Bills, he threw 5 interceptions. This should be a blowout for the Bills. They should easily win this game. I'm going to say, again, like something similar. I'm probably even going to say even worse. I'm going to go 42 to 17. I'll give the Dolphins 17 points. 42-17. All 3 of these games, realistically, should all be blowouts. All 3 should be blowouts. Don't watch any of them. They're all crap games. The Bills are much better than the Dolphins. Rams are much better than the Colts. And the Saints are much better than the Panthers. That being said, this is also a divisional game, so you never know. But yeah, the Bills should win that game pretty easily. Patriots Jets, interesting game here. Matchup between rookie quarterbacks. I think the Patriots are slightly better. I'll give them the advantage. They should be able to win. Going to be a low-scoring game for sure. I'll say 23-17 Patriots, but I think that, they barely squeak by the Jets. Interesting game here. The Bears versus the Bengals. I think, again, going to be a close game. I feel that, ironically enough, from what I saw from the Bears this week, I think the Bengals actually win. That's if they're actually starting Andy Dalton still, which they should not be, but I don't know if they are or not, but I should probably find out, and I should have probably found out before I made this prediction, but I think the Bengals can beat the Bears here, actually. If I get this wrong, I won't feel too bad. That game is going to be interesting. The Bengals won in overtime last week against the Vikings. I don't know why the heck they're playing all their NFC games right now, but they are. I'll say like 25 to 23 Bengals, right? Giving them the 2-point advantage there. Buccaneers should easily roll over the Falcons. Tom Brady has a history of the Falcons, and it's pretty good history. Yeah, the Falcons suck. The Buccaneers are good. The Buccaneers should win this game pretty easily. We saw the Buccaneers do have some weaknesses, this season. But, yeah, they should still win this game pretty easily. I say 34-17 Buccaneers win. Vikings Cardinals. The Cardinals should blow the Vikings out of the water for the win. They, I think, personally upset the Titans last week pretty big in a blowout victory. Let me go ahead and say like 35-24 Cardinals get the dub. More interesting than some of the other games this week that are probably lopsided, but I still think the Cardinals win. Titans and Seahawks. Interesting game for a lot of reasons. Titans got blown out the Cardinals last week. The Titans are very confusing to me because of that. I think the Seahawks win, though. The Titans probably start 0-2. They're not looking too great. They should be. Theoretically, on paper, the Titans are a good team, but they're not looking too great right now. I think, I would have to go with the Seahawks in this one. I'm going to go with the Seahawks, make it a close game, 28-23, Seahawks win. Cowboys versus Chargers. It's a very close game in terms of matchup, in terms of skill, what I think is going to happen. The Cowboys almost beat the Buccaneers last week, but I can never count the Cowboys as a true favorite because they are such a bad team defensively. The Chargers are a really good team offensively, but I saw them play against Washington last week, and they looked a little bit sloppy. That being said, they have a much easier matchup defensively this week. It's just that, can they contain Dak Prescott and that Cowboys offense? I don't know that they win a shootout. I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably going to be a shootout. People should probably watch this game. It's probably going to be interesting. I think the Cowboys actually win. I'm going to go ahead and say the Cowboys win this game, like 35-32. So, yeah. Chiefs, Ravens. The Ravens are banged up. I'm a Ravens fan. I want them to win. I don't know that I can pick them to win here. I think pretty much everybody is picking against the Ravens here. I've seen like one person pick a prediction again for the Ravens. With how they played against the Raiders last week, I feel like there's not really any way they win against the Chiefs. But I don't know that I can pick against my own team here because I always want to believe in them. That being said, I don't know how they beat the Chiefs this week. I think I have to pick the Chiefs here. And this is probably one of the first times I've ever picked against the Ravens. But I have to pick, I'm still going to root for the Ravens. I want them to win. But I'm going to pick the Chiefs here just to be safe in terms of, actually thinking of who's actually going to win. I don't believe, analytically, I have to, right? because it's the only thing that makes logical sense. I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win, but I think it's going to be a close game. Closer than people probably expect. I think the Ravens actually have a decent... I think the Ravens can win. I think they can win, but I don't know how they do. Right? I think it's going to be a close game. I don't see either team scoring over 40 points. I'll say about 35 to maybe 28. Chiefs win. Yeah. Lions, Packers, both teams did bad last week. Packers did not look like themselves last week. Aaron Rodgers did not look like himself last week. I didn't know what he was doing. I don't know what happened. Right, overall, but the Lions are so bad. I have to go with the Packers this game. I feel like, yeah, there's no way the Packers lose like that 2 weeks in a row. Aaron Rodgers is going to probably come out with the golf club. So we'll just go with that. And then hopefully I get that pick right. I think the Packers probably score about like 32 on them. Maybe more than that. The Lions will probably score a decent amount of points in garbage time because Jared Goff is decent. I don't know, I think the Packers won like 35-29, something like that. Anyway, that's it. Let's go over a couple of games that are probably going to be good. Let's see. Tonight's game is trash. That will be a good game. Raiders, Steelers is always decent. Eagles, Niners is good. Texans, Browns, maybe. Probably not, though. I guess Cowboys and Chargers is good. Chiefs and Ravens should be good. Yeah, a lot of these games this week are looking like they're not going to be that great. But there are some games that are going to be good. Yeah, so that's the predictions this week. Let's see what we get. We went 9-7 last week in terms of predictions, so hopefully we can keep that going. Peace.